Hey gang, it's Rich. Here's the deal. This episode, well, it doesn't sound great. And the reason it doesn't sound great is because of some sort of distortion that was happening while we were recording. We didn't realize that it was happening, so we're really sorry. We're going to go ahead and post it anyway. Hopefully, you'll still enjoy it. We had a lot of fun on this episode, so we wanted to get it out there. But yeah, there's a lot of garbling and a lot of sort of popping on it. So our apologies, but please still enjoy. Welcome to Not Suitable for Adults. It's a podcast where we're grown-ups and there's other grown-ups out in the world and they make shows for kids, and then we watch them, we review them, and then you hopefully enjoy it.
We're finally doing an episode again.
We're doing two in a row, although I did release last week's episode late.
Yeah, you need to be better.
That's fair. Fair feedback.
You need to be better about that.
I just need to be better.
I mean, it falls on you, so you just need to do better.
I'm gonna do better.
Okay.
Yay! I'm Rich.
I'm Natalie.
And I'm gonna start doing better right now.
Okay.
I've got two things to talk about because one of them is something that Core legitimately watches kind of a lot, and one of them is something that I wanted to watch because of my childhood. I just decided I'm going to do them in a different order. I'm going to do my thing first, and I'll do the big thing next.
Okay.
The Mighty Ducks, Game Changers.
It's the new series on Disney Plus.
It's the new series on Disney Plus. I watched it. It's not a whole, they didn't do the whole thing. It's episodic. So I only got one episode.
It comes out week by week.
It comes out week by week.
That's what episodic means?
No, it's not.
That's why I said it comes week by week.
I know. I'm
having a lot of breaks lately.
Yeah.
Remembering words, remembering people, remembering names. It's not a hard time lately.
There was a time, not that long ago, and I'm not an old man, I'm 34. It wasn't that long ago that I could just go, oh yeah, a movie, I'll name you the top 5 people in that movie, whether I'd seen it or not.
Yeah.
And the other night I was watching,
you're not going to be able to remember.
Yeah. No, I was watching through the Christopher Nolan Batman movies.
Uh-huh.
I was in Dark Knight Rises, and I couldn't remember Gary Oldman's name. I was looking at it, I was going...
And then you realized,
I'm an old man. I was like, what is this? And then I couldn't remember anyone's name for a little bit. Then my brain just went, we don't remember things now. And I was like, I remember Christian Bale. Who's Alfred?
Michael Caine.
Michael Caine.
If you guys, it's a funny little thing. If you want to say Michael Caine's name in his accent, you say my cocaine.
Yeah, which is
Michael Caine.
Which is not suitable for children.
No.
But yeah, you have to say it. You kind of have to say it in like all together. Don't leave any spaces. And you kind of have to say it in monotones. You have to go Michael Caine.
Michael Caine.
Anyway.
So Rich is old. Okay, go.
Yeah. Anyway, so
Mighty Ducks.
Yeah, Mighty Ducks.
It's not episodic. It comes out
on Disney Plus weekly, and it came out for the first time this past week. It's really good. It's actually quite fun. It captures a lot of the essence of kind of like what the original Mighty Ducks felt like from the beginning, but like it refreshes it. So,
and you were quite at the legit age for the Mighty Ducks when it came out. That was like your jam.
Yeah.
So I think especially people of a certain age.
Oh my goodness, am I into that?
People of a certain age will really appreciate this. I mean, a little before my time. No, I just didn't.
You're younger than me.
I just didn't watch. I just didn't really watch
care
it.
about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the synopsis. You remember the Mighty Ducks, the scrappy group of hockey kids from
I mean,
the 3
it's
movies.
the Big Green, but hockey.
Okay, let's just get it in order. The Big Green is the Mighty Ducks, but soccer. Let's just get that in order.
I watched the Big Green.
Sure. The Big Green is the Mighty Ducks, but soccer.
But a ragtag team. I'm pretty sure we've talked about Mighty Ducks.
A ragtag and very inclusive group of children from a hockey team.
Wait, you have covered Mighty Ducks on this before.
There's 3 movies. The third one's confusing because they go to like a prep school and they're... Never mind. So, so it's the Mighty Ducks. Flash forward to today, and the Mighty Ducks are still around. But now they're the big Pee Wee hockey franchise.
They've become what they fought against.
Yeah, they were. So in the first movie, it's the Mighty Ducks versus the Hawks,
Right.
And now the Mighty Ducks are the Hawks. They're like multi-time state champion team.
Uh-oh.
And they're coached by a guy he's like, we're not here to have fun. We're here to win.
Uh-oh.
And so
there goes your childhood.
Yeah.
Mighty Ducks are terrible people now.
They're terrible people. So they, the show starts with this young man whose name is Evan Morrow. That's the character's name, played by Brady Noon. And he's 12 years old, and he is on his way to like the first practice of the season for the Mighty Ducks. And he's running late. His mom is played by Lauren Graham. Who's like famous for a lot of things. I think mainly Gilmore Girls. She's the mom from Gilmore Girls.
Yeah.
There's feelings about Lauren Graham.
No,
it's me and Lauren got into it once.
No, it's just the women of my age, the people of my age, were really into Gilmore Girls.
You kind of missed that too.
Well, I missed it, and then when I was only maybe like 4 years ago did I watch it for the first time, and it was just annoying to me.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just my opinion. I know people that love Gilmore Girls, but so she was the mom, Lorelai, on Gilmore Girls.
Yeah, and she's the mom here, and she's pretty much Lorelai. I just think that's Lauren Graham.
I feel like not much. What is that called? Never mind. Go ahead.
Anyway, so she's the mom. She's like, I think, if I'm remembering right, she's like a paralegal for this big law firm, which is sort of harkens back to the original Mighty Ducks, because Gordon Bombay is a big shot lawyer. I know, he's the big shot lawyer, and then he has to do the community service.
Sure.
That starts the whole thing. So she works there, and she's at work, and she's supposed to come pick up her son to go to the practice, and she's running late.
Mm-hmm.
And so she finally gets away, and she gets him. He shows up late to the practice, and then he gets out on the ice, and like he can skate and he can play, but he's not the best.
He probably came into it with stars in his eyes, wanting to be a Mighty Duck.
Yeah, he's one of these kids. I mean, it's set in Wisconsin, so like all of the kids love hockey.
Yeah.
And they're, in fact, when they get to the rink, my favorite character of the show, and this is gonna change. Mm-hmm. My favorite character of the show gets introduced. His name is Nick Gaines. He's played by Maxwell Simkins. He's also a young boy, and he is hilarious. Mm-hmm. He's so funny.
He's the comic relief of the show.
They give him all the funniest lines, and he nails them. He's so funny.
Gotcha.
He's got a big career. Mm-hmm. I'm calling it now.
Okay.
He was in a movie. He was in like one of the movies. There was a movie called I think it was called The Sleepover that came out last year. Mm-hmm. That I think was like kind of aimed at tween-age girls.
Okay, I don't know.
And he played the younger annoying brother, I think, in that. We didn't see it. I just looked up his IMDb. That's all it was.
Okay.
But he's so funny. Watch out for Maxwell Simkins. He's funny. But he and this other girl from the local school are doing a podcast. They're doing a hockey podcast, and they introduce it, and he goes, "Welcome." I wish I could remember the name of the show. He goes, "Welcome to the second most popular Pee Wee hockey podcast in southwestern Wisconsin."
The second.
Or whatever it is. Or no, you know what? It's Minnesota. It's not Wisconsin. It's Minnesota. That doesn't matter. It's Minnesota.
It's one of those cold states.
Well, it's Minnesota because Gordon Bombay was a Minnesota Miracle Man, so that's why he's important to the people later.
Oh, no?
Well, people who know Mighty Ducks know what I'm saying.
Bombay.
Still the best name.
Okay, Bombay.
Okay, Bombay. Anyway, so he gets cut. The kid gets cut from the team because he's not that good. The coach is played by, let me find his name again, Dylan Playfair, who
does not play fair.
He does not.
Oh my goodness.
Dylan Playfair. The only reason I care about this guy is I just watched. Here you can see him here. I just watched through everything that's available for Letterkenny. I had heard that was a really funny show, mm-hmm. and I finally realized it was all on Hulu, so I watched it. It's a very funny show, and he plays one of the deadbeat hockey bros.
Oh, okay. So he plays hockey as a character. He has a lot of hockey experience.
Yeah. So basically he can skate. Yeah. And he's kind of a jerk.
Yeah.
And he plays very much that character in this too. He's not as much of a space cadet in this.
Yeah.
But he's mean. So he cuts what's his name, Evan, and the mom is she makes a big deal about it out on the ice, and that goes viral.
Because she's Lorelai.
Yeah. So she makes a big deal about it out on the ice, and a bunch of people video it, and it goes viral, and then Evan has a terrible time at school.
Sure.
And so to try and make it up to him, she's going to try and help him put together another team of misfits who can't make it on the Ducks. Mm-hmm. But the point of the team is going to be that that doesn't matter. You're just here to have fun.
It's called the Mighty Ducks.
The Mighty Ducks, Game Changers.
Okay, it should be called the Mighty Ducks, not really.
Right. So here's what it is. So they, long story short,
you shouldn't really, I mean, some people, this is brand new,
yes,
so you shouldn't say too much about it. You should just give a overarching synopsis.
Okay.
Because this is very brand new.
I know. I can't help it. I'm actually really excited about this show. It's just really good. You're right. I'm going to stop. I'm going to slow it up. I'm going to slow my roll.
Yeah.
Suffice it to say that we meet Emilio Estevez.
Of course we do.
Gordon Bombay.
Ricky Bombay.
His life has...
I wish his name was Ricky.
Bombay.
I feel like it goes better than Gordon.
He has, like, control of the local rink. His life has taken a weird turn that makes him different. It's funny, the first time you hear Emilio Estevez talk in this show, he sounds exactly like Martin Sheen.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. I thought...
Well, you know why, right?
Yes, I do. I'm just saying, man, he sounds so much like his dad. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I feel like they were a lot more similar than
him and
Charlie. Yeah.
This is a good show so far. I mean, I'm expecting it to be good. I don't think there's a lot of episodes that are going to come out.
Well, maybe you can talk about it more
I'll do a series summary when it's over.
Perfect.
But just so you know, watch it. Go watch Maxwell Simkins talk. He's so funny.
Yeah. You're really into this kid. You really think he's...
I think he's great.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay, I have a second thing to talk about.
No, okay. No, keep going.
Yes.
It's fine.
Man. trying to rein in your excitement.
Rich's podcast. Let's go. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
That was mean.
I was trying to be, what's his name? Play without playing for me.
Oh, I see. Cut me from the team. You're just not making it, bro. Okay, switching gears. Although there's a hockey connection. That was unintentional. Here's the show that Cora watches. Are you ready? It's called The Fixies.
Right.
And The Fixies is a show about these little creatures who apparently live everywhere. They're kind of like the...
Well, they're not just creatures, right? They're like nuts and bolts and stuff, right?
Yeah, that's kind of how they hide. They turn into nuts and bolts.
Oh, okay.
But they're little people.
Okay.
I'm trying to think what it is. That's a thing from our childhood. There was a thing like that. I can't think what it is now.
People that turned into nuts and bolts?
Nope, little tiny people who helped fix things around a house.
Oh. Keep rescuers down under
No. Anyway, someone out there knows what I'm talking about, and you'll tell me about it. But these are the...
I know what you're talking about. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I just can't think what they're called.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. So the whole show is that they live in this house with this family and the boy who they're like not supposed to be... they're not supposed to show themselves to humans, but this little boy finds them. His name is Tom Thomas.
I know, I was just going to say, is his name like Tom Thompson or something? It's Tom Thomas.
His name is Tom Thomas. And he and like another kid, I think, find out about them. And it turns out like they have to hide from all the grown-ups and stuff. Mm-hmm. And basically every episode is like...
Something's broken.
Tom Thomas is supposed to do something, and something breaks, or one of the Fixies is supposed to fix something a certain way, and they cut a corner, and there's always a lesson to be learned.
Sure.
And it's pretty cute, I would say. Like, it's a little sort of 3D animated show. It's a little weird, I would say. Like, there's something about it. Here's what it is. There's just something about it that's weird, and I realized what it was when I was doing a little bit of research about the show, because at first, I couldn't find anything about the Fixies on the internet. And I found out why. It's because it's a Russian show. It aired originally on Russian television, and then they put it on YouTube so that kids can watch it in both Russian, German, and English out on the various like video streaming options, mainly YouTube.
Gotcha.
And so what's weird about it that now I kind of get is
it's
one.
Kind of I guess it's dubbed.
Yeah, it's dubbed over.
Sorry, I keep moving my mic because it's not quite where I want it to be.
You're fine. Don't worry about it.
I'm not.
We're very laid back here.
I know. I'm here.
We're laying back.
No.
Anyway, it's the names, which now I'm like, okay, yeah, it's a Russian show, so I get it. Like,
oh, okay.
One of the characters' names is Simko, one of them is Nolik, and it's like,
right.
Apparently, in the original, let me find, so Tom Thomas's original name in the show is Dim Dimich, which sounds like a Russian name.
Dim Dimich, which is funny because Tom Thomas, Dim Dimich is probably their like a little alliteration thing that they did with Tom Thomas.
Right. And Tom Thomas has this little chihuahua who in the show, the chihuahua's name is Chusaka.
Right.
Which I always thought was weird and sounds like they were doing a Chewbacca thing.
Right, I thought so too, but they're not.
No, it's just that they're trying to get I think they're literally just trying to get the mouth movements as close as possible to what the Russian name is, which is Kusachka.
Oh. So they just, as they were dubbing it, they decided to do Chusaka.
Right.
Weird.
Kusachka. And The spider. Is there a spider in this show? I haven't seen a spider. But apparently there's a spider also in the show called Zuchka. Anyway, this is a show that has been around for a long time. It originally came out in 2010, and I think they're still making it. There are episodes through 2020, but I don't see anything that says... There's not a lot out there. I'm on the translated version of the German Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of information about them, but they had 10 years worth of episodes that go across only 3 seasons. So apparently they did like big long sets and then cut them and such. So anyway,
so Cora's been watching this on YouTube Kids, right? Like it pops up on YouTube Kids.
Yes.
So when it's on, I kind of don't really pay attention to it, but also it is a bit annoying to listen to. Just giving like my parental advisory there. It's not something super fun to listen to.
Yeah. It's something that they have, I'll give them some credit because there is an attempt at education in every episode.
Yeah.
So there's usually like they do the thing, so it's 3D animated mostly, but then like at the end, or maybe sometimes in the middle, they'll break down into like a 2-dimensional like version of their world where they're kind of breaking down like, if you see this happen, this is the kind of thing you should do, and then they like model what the thing is. And so they do attempt to make it educational, and they kind of do. It's hard because like there's a young boy who is like the main character, and also there are a young boy and girl, Fixie, who are also kind of the main characters, and they're all kind of always lost. And so like there is a lot of I don't know. There's not any story. There's certainly no story to this.
It's all conflict resolution.
Yeah, basically it's like a
overarching
problem of the
thing.
week.
Yeah.
Sort of deal. So it's definitely safe to put your kid in front of.
Right.
And Cora has enjoyed it. They have a thing that I don't know. And it's just, I think so much about this, like, and please, no offense intended to anyone with like Russian heritage or anything. Just saying that it makes sense to me now that there are some things about this that feel weird.
Yeah.
And it's because it's from a different culture.
Right.
And so, like, there's a bunch of things like, and it talks about it on the Wikipedia page. They have this like symbol that's on their chest, like it's their logo, which is, it's the sign of 3 fingers. It's your thumb, your pointer, and your middle finger out, like you're saying 3. And that's like their logo. It's on their chest. And sometimes they like do it in the show to like wave at each other when they're going, yeah, hi, we know each other. Or sometimes it's like, yes, we swear to do it, like the Boy Scout like salute. And sometimes they just do it like a thumbs up, like we did it, kind of thing. And then they'll say "Tadich," which also I'm like, yeah, that's got to be that. Maybe that means something in Russian but it doesn't mean anything to us. They just say "Tadich," and we don't know what it means.
Right.
Anyway, so if you've come across the Fixies, and been confused about them, maybe that's why. Maybe it's because it's a Russian show that they turned in.
What's this little song for Fixies?
So there are multiple versions of the theme song. It's kind of a bluesy, like but so the first part is almost like there are literally, I think, 4 or 5 versions of it. I heard a bunch of them the other day while I was working. Cora just like went on a bender watching a bunch of Fixies. But the end of it is always, but if you need a Fixie, please don't let their secret out. So it's like, if you find them and then you ask them to do something for you, just make sure you keep their secret. The Borrowers. Is the Borrower a thing?
There it is.
Yes. What a great way to end my segment. What a success.
Of remembering something.
Yeah.
That's it.
So anyway, yes, the Fixies.
People are probably sitting here going, man, it's the Borrowers. I really hope he says that.
I actually think there's another one that I'm not thinking of too, but the Borrowers is what I was trying to remember.
Gotcha.
But I think there's another version of that also. Get at me in the comments. Or get at me in Promoville, which is where we're about to stop.
You want people just coming up to you in Promoville and going, it was called the Borrowers. Oldman?
If someone somehow recognized me, they would have to hear my voice. I'd have to be somewhere, and the person would be like, all right, that's going to be $4.75. I'd be like, all right. And they'd be like, I know that. Like, that would be the only way someone could recognize me because we do a podcast.
Yeah.
And our pictures aren't anywhere.
Yeah.
That's not true. Actually, we have headshots. Did you know that?
You do?
Yeah, they're on Podchaser.
What is my headshot?
I think you'll like it.
Okay, let's go to Promoville.
Let's go to Promoville. And we're back. I thought that was a really solid first half. I don't know how you're going to beat it.
You did a great job. I'm going to beat it by, again, going off the rails as far as, I like to sometimes go like, hey, let's talk about a book. Let's talk about nursery rhymes.
Sometimes Natalie looks at the rules of a thing and just says,
Forget about
I'm going to do it my way.
Forget about it. This is my podcast.
She's a rebel. If you know anything about Natalie, the first thing you would say is she's a rebel.
Okay. Okay. I would like to talk to you about Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh, Chuck E. Cheese. Charles Edward Cheese.
It's not Edward.
I know.
Actually, I
just recently decided what the E was, right?
Well, in the Wikipedia page for the establishment of Chuck E. Cheese, which is what I'm going to be talking about, I did not find his full name. Mm-hmm. I have heard that it is Charles Entertainment Cheese.
Oh, I love that, though. That's great.
I have heard that it is that.
Entertainment is middle name. That's great. That's great.
But I am not 1,000% sure on that because I did not look into the backstory of the actual character of Chuck E. Cheese. I was just looking at the backstory of the establishment of Chuck E. Cheese.
So one thing that I want to go ahead and say that always bugs me about Chuck E. Cheese, and I'm going to let you start your thing.
You go ahead and talk about how, sorry, it's going to do a little feedback. Sorry. Just because I wanted to look at this real quick, but go ahead.
It's that people call him Chucky. People think it's Chuck E. Cheese. And it's not. It's Chuck. Chuck E. Cheese.
It's Chuck, Chucke, the letter E, and Cheese as a last name.
So, it's always, even like when I was a kid, people would be like, Chuck E. Cheese. I'd be like, no, it's Chuck E. Cheese. But that's just a little window into my brain.
The quickest of research just then I couldn't pull up anything.
I love entertainment. Let's assume that's right.
Okay. I heard that from someone, I don't know who, but it was probably a McElroy brother, which means it was probably not true. Okay. Do you know who founded the very first baby Ridge version of Chuck E. Cheese?
No.
It was founded by Atari founder.
Oh, that's smart.
Nolan Bushnell.
That makes total sense.
His name's Nolan Bushnell. He founded Atari, and he founded the first versions of what we now know as Chuck E. Cheese. Mm-hmm. He wanted to expand video game arcades to include family-friendly things and to include pizza. Mm-hmm. He was really into pizza because he felt like you can make it quick, it doesn't take long, everybody likes it. Let's get video games. Let's get a family-style venue that's not like a pool hall, mm-hmm. and let's serve pizza. And then he started thinking of, let's do this animatronic thing. Mm-hmm. So he opened up a little pizza shop that he at first called Coyote Pizza.
Okay.
When his first animatronic show was being put together, he realized that the costume he'd bought for his main animatronic character, which was supposed to be a coyote, was actually that of a rodent. Mm. So he started thinking, okay, instead of Coyote Pizza, let's call it Rick Rat's Pizza. Rick, R-I-C-K, Rat's Pizza. His marketing people were like,
not a good idea.
No, we don't like that. And they said, what if we called him Chuck E. Cheese? And he was like, okay, cool. So they opened the first Chuck E. Cheese's Pizza Time Theater in San Jose, California in 1977.
Holy moly, that's a long time ago.
Mm-hmm. So over a few different, there were a couple of different name changes throughout this, but it was Chuck E. Cheese's Pizza Time Theater, and then it changed a little bit later to, let me find it, Showbiz Pizza Place.
Which is what I remember.
And then it changed later to, at one point it just became Chuck E. Cheese's Pizza, and then, or just Chuck E. Cheese's. And then, as early or as recent as 2019, did it become Chuck E. Cheese?
Oh, so it was Chuck E. Cheese's.
It was Chuck E. Cheese's, and now it's just Chuck E. Cheese.
Okay,
but I don't remember anybody ever saying Chuck E. Cheese's.
I think they just changed it because everyone called it Chuck E. Cheese.
Probably.
Yeah.
So 1977, he opened it, and in 78, his corporate parent was Warner Communications, and they didn't want to open up any other locations other than the one in San Jose. So he purchased the rights to Chuck E. Cheese's Pizza Time Theater from Warner for $500,000.
Jeez.
He purchased those rights, and he became the owner of
sole proprietor.
Yes, of Chuck E. Cheese's Pizza Time Theater.
Which is a mouthful.
Yes. They shorten it to PTT. And then he started franchising. There were, by 1979, there were 7 locations. And then he started to expand, and he got into business with, let me find it. He got into business with, let me find his full name. There he is. He decided to get into business with a guy named Robert Brock, and decided to do franchising with him. So this guy had some of it, he had some of it, and they were to expand together. But this guy, in 1979, this guy Brock, saw, this is confusing, but just hang in there with me. So, Atari guy.
I'm sorry, I'm just thinking about how funny the fact is that this guy knew someone whose name was Bob Brock. Bob Brock. All right, so Chuck E. Cheese merged with Bob Brock's Rocks and Brats. Like.
Okay, so overall, Atari guy.
Yeah.
Bushnell.
Yeah.
He wanted to expand further, so he got in business with this guy Brock. In 79, Brock met this guy called Aaron Fetcher, who was of Creative Engineering Inc., and his work in animatronics. Aaron Fetcher was also doing animatronics at the time. Later that year, he went and scouted Fetcher's businesses and decided that his animatronics would be too strong of a competition for Bushnell's work. So an Atari guy's, he's like, this Fetcher guy, he's going to be better than Bushnell. So Brock divided himself from the agreement that him and Bushnell had made.
No, I just knew. When you said his name, I was like, this guy's the villain.
Freaking Brock.
This guy's the villain of this story.
He decided he wanted to go with Fetcher instead. So in 79, Brock and Fetcher formed Showbiz Pizza Place.
Right, yeah.
This was not the original idea. The original idea was Nolan Bushnell's.
Yeah.
But he got in business with a shady guy, Brock, who went and found this other guy he liked better, and they partnered up and started their own thing. It was pretty much conceptually identical from Pizza Time Theater.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the creative engineering aspect of it was a little bit better, the animatronics. So, Showbiz Pizza Place opened its first location in 1980 in Kansas City, Missouri. When that opened, Bushnell sued, obviously, over breach of contract. There was a countersuit. Eventually, they settled out of court with Showbiz paying Pizza Time Theater a portion of its profits over a decade. So that's a lot to take in already. Both of them had good success. Both of them did pretty good, and they both were doing the same thing. In 81 to 83, there was a video game crash. the market and the industry just kind of lost its power there for a little bit, and Pizza Time Theater lost about $15 million. Bushnell's debts just kept rising, and he filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Brock then said, okay, I'll buy it. So Brock buys Pizza Time Theater and merges it with Showbiz Pizza Time. So now they are the same thing. Mm-hmm. But just in the way that you wouldn't really want them to have gotten there, because it kind of sucks the way it had to happen.
By the way, I want to do a quick plug for a documentary on Netflix called High Score.
Okay.
Which goes into the history of video games, and it's really fascinating. They talk about that video game crash in the early 80s and how arcades, which were huge, there were tons of arcades and people were making money hand over fist at them. Yeah. And then one day it was just like, nope, not anymore, and it was off.
Right.
Really, really amazing. That's for the grown-ups. But it's super fascinating. Go.
For a time, both of those restaurants still operated under their own separate names, but by the early 90s, everything was now Showbiz Pizza Time. In 92, they changed the name to Chuck E. Cheese's Pizza. So that was the full name, Chuck E. Cheese's Pizza. Then it shortened to Chuck E. Cheese's in 95. No pizza at the end, just Chuck E. Cheese's in 95. And then Showbiz Pizza Time changed its name to CEC, so Chuck E. Cheese, but CEC Entertainment. Okay, that's a lot of information.
Yeah, that's like corporate talk.
A lot of corporate talk. In the early 1980s, it started to go international. And it's everywhere. But I wanted to point out really quickly that in Australia, it goes by the name of Charlie Cheese's Pizza Playhouse. Because the common meaning of the word chuck in Australian is like upchuck, to throw up. So a lot of times they just say chuck, meaning to throw up. So they didn't want people coming to their pizza restaurant called Chuck. Yeah. So in 2012, they were still by 2012, they were still doing kind of the same guys as far as the animatronic rat. But they changed in 2012 to a rock star guitar playing mouse.
Yeah.
So that's the Chuck E. Cheese that we kind of know now. He was in kind of this bowler hat, but now he's in a baseball cap with a cool T-shirt. He's got a guitar. He's a little more hip now. Obviously, in 2020, because of the pandemic, it was very financially damaging to this company.
Yeah, a company whose main thing is half restaurant, half giant room of things kids touch and breathe on.
Please come in here, eat things, touch things, breathe on things. Yes, and especially all these little people doing all that. Yeah. I always thought Chuck E. Cheese's were so just gross because of that. Yeah. I honestly I have no idea about the cleanliness of those places. They just felt like that to me, but probably because I was thinking of germy things.
Yeah.
So they got some loans. They lost a lot of money in 2020. They got into debt in the billions of dollars. They filed a voluntary Chapter 11, and I know some of them had to close. I know a lot of them are still kicking out there right now. Yeah. So the primary draw of this was the video and the arcade area. You can go in and you can get coins. You put your money in, you get these coins, and you put the coins in, however many coins to play skee ball, which was my favorite.
Skee ball's great.
They did try doing a card, a reloadable card that you swiped at each game. They called it the Chuck E's super discount card or the Chuck E token card. But I think a lot of people just really like those coins. Yeah. And then you get those coins, you put them in there. So first you have your money. Then you turn that to coins.
You turn to fake money.
And then those coins turn into tickets. And then those tickets turn it into one eraser. Yeah. You pay $10 for a pretty crappy eraser. Or like a plastic slinky, one of the miniature kind. Or what else was there?
So my favorite version of this, and here's another movie that is definitely not suitable for children. In Deadpool,
right?
They go to an arcade, and he gets a Voltron ring.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember her name in the movie, but Marina Baccarin, her character, like, only gets a couple tickets. She gets an eraser.
Yeah.
And the guy behind the counter pulls one out and he goes, "All right, sir, you can now command Voltron, the most powerful robot protector in the galaxy." And he goes to Marina and he goes, "And you can erase things, written in pencil."
Yes, exactly. By 2015, on the Chuck E. Live stage,
quote unquote,
Chuck E. Live,
hard quotes there.
Yes. By 2015, they were getting rid of these animatronics. Instead, they decided to do costumed people. Yeah, and by 2017, they announced that the animatronic shows would be removed entirely to favor because they did some pilot locations. They decided, okay, let's see how this goes off with the kids. Instead of doing these robots that just stand on stage and do, I'm doing a robot movement. You guys can't see it,
but she's doing a great robot.
I'm doing a fantastic Chuck E. Cheese. Instead, let's put some poor souls into these super, super hot costumes and have them, be jumped on by kids. Seems like the kids liked that because they're refitting it. They started refitting it, and they may still be in the process. I don't know how that was delayed because
getting
of
rid of the
2020.
animatronic stuff.
Yeah. So pizza's their main thing, right? During COVID-19, it is still during COVID-19, but starting in March of 2020, when this all started going down, they started doing a food delivery service. And you said something about this the other day.
There was like a DoorDash driver on TikTok. It was like, someone ordered Chuck E. Cheese pizza.
And the thing is, I think it's just amazing that somebody, would order delivery of a Chuck E. Cheese pizza specifically.
Yeah.
Because you probably pay, like $20 for a medium at Chuck E. Cheese?
I guess the thing is, like, it's cool, it's smart, like, thinking back to Mr. Atari. I can't remember his name.
Nolan Bushnell.
Bushnell. I'm going to call him Mr. Atari. I like that better. I bet he likes it better.
Whatever.
If he's still around. But it was a great idea. Like, video games and pizza. Like, yeah.
Sorry, I'm giving feedback again because I lost my...
your page. Your page.
Sorry.
It was a great idea doing video games and pizza together. That was a smart thing. I don't know if he invented that connection, but good call. But the pizza, for me, when I was a kid, first of all, when I was a kid, we went to Showbiz.
You went to the Betrayers restaurant.
Well, here's the thing. In the 80s and 90s, you didn't know that.
Right.
So,
and it all became the same thing eventually.
Right. But, like, even our parents, unless our parents are like, I'm going to do some research, and then they go to the library and get microfiche. Right. Like,
right.
Like, you don't know this stuff. So we went to Showbiz. And I'm just going to say, like, as a kid, first of all, it was great. I remember loving Showbiz Pizza. And I remember being absolutely devastated when suddenly one day Showbiz Pizza was closed. And we're like, no, because that was the place you go to. That's where you go for your birthday. And like all that stuff. We were devastated. And then like 6 months later, Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah.
Because I guess that was one of the ones that they converted
By
or whatever.
The way, CEC, the corporation, also was, they were also the people that did Discovery Zone.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was going to talk about DZ, yeah. So, like, one thing was, like, being so sad when Showbiz went away, and then being, like, confused when this usurper, which it turns out it was not, like, he was the original, but, like, who's this Charles Cheese? I don't know anything about this guy.
Yeah.
So there was that. For me, even as a kid, I remember, like, pizza's pizza, but, like, that was not the reason you went to Chuck E. Cheese.
No.
It's a big, cool arcade and tube, like, giant. You couldn't get tubes like that anywhere else.
You aren't sitting down for even 2 seconds to eat this pizza because you are busy in the arcade.
It was a McDonald's play place on speed, this place, because just the sheer volume of tubes. And so
Yeah.
there was that. Like, it was that, and then the pizza, and then I have to say, I could have gone without the animatronics. Like, I was one of the kids that, like, that was more terrifying to me.
Honestly, yes, they were very creepy. I just want to say at the very end here, this food delivery service went under the brand name of Pascali's Pizza and Wings.
Okay.
Which, man, did it confuse a lot of people.
Sure.
Because you go to Chuck E. Cheese, you're sitting at home, and you're like, you know what kind of pizza I'd really like?
Man, I could go for some Chuck.
I could really use some of Charles Entertainment Cheese's pizza right now.
No one does pizza like Charles.
But you have to order it
from
under Pascali's Pizza and Wings, which Pascali was a member of Chuck E. Cheese's animatronic band. That was one of the characters. Everybody knows Pascali.
Everyone knows Chuck's best bud,
and
Pascali.
And listen to this sentence, okay? Listen to this sentence. Not
if
that
you like
one.
that one, listen to this one.
While food sold under this brand comes from the same brick-and-mortar kitchens as Chuck E. Cheese, the company claims to use different ingredients and recipes that cater to a more mature audience.
We swear you're not just eating Chuck E. Cheese pizza.
No, it's
Pascali's Pizza and Wings.
And Wings. Yep.
Oh my goodness.
So I just thought it would be fun to talk about some Chuck E. Cheese because we had some friends not too long ago saying they were going to a birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese, and I was like, ugh, that sounds terrible.
We took my best friend, Josh, to Chuck E. Cheese for his 20th birthday, and it was so much fun. We killed it at Chuck E. Cheese.
No, sure.
Because everything's set for little kids.
Yeah, of course.
We destroyed it at Chuck E. Cheese.
I wonder when Dave and Buster's came into play, because that's just adult Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, you're right. It is, and it's also tons of fun. We didn't talk about...
I've never been to a Dave and Buster's.
Oh, we gotta go.
You've never taken me there.
We gotta go. It's fun. It's adult Chuck E. Cheese. Discovery Zone.
Yes.
I just wanted to touch on that, because
I think this little girl right here, me, I think I only got to step foot in a Discovery Zone maybe once for a birthday party, and it still is in my brain as one of the best experiences of my life.
It was so good. Discovery Zone, and of course they're owned by the same people. Of course they are.
Yeah.
But Discovery Zone was basically just like someone at Chuck E. Cheese in a board meeting was like, hey everyone, I gotta say, basically exactly what I just said. Like, I gotta say, I think for the most part, kids are coming here for the tubes and for the video games. I think if we just had a place that was that, and if they want to get food, we can have food there.
Yeah.
But I think if we just like mainly offered tubes, like maybe just
if they could just crawl around in tubes like hamsters.
Yeah, if it could just be pretty much all tubes all the time.
Tubes, ropes.
Yeah, there's
tubes and ropes.
Absolutely, of course,
some foam.
Big foam blocks.
Big old balls.
Let's get the biggest trampoline we can find.
Yeah.
Let's just focus on the tubes, on the tube experience and the playground experience. And then if they want pizza, that's fine. And you know what? Let's just not do the animatronics.
Let's just not.
And someone was like, okay, we'll let you try this once. And then
it
took
Jerry.
off because DC was so cool.
Yeah, DC was very cool.
So much fun.
Much better than Chuck E. Cheese.
And I feel like that the spirit of DZ lives on now in all in the trampoline parks that are out there now.
Yeah. It's just that people don't want to clean tubes anymore.
No, you know what? I bet
I bet they didn't.
I don't know how often they did. I was gonna say I don't know how often they did clean the tubes.
I mean, I hardly want Cora to play on the McDonald's or the Chick-fil-A whatever, the Burger King things. Like, who gets it up in there and cleans those? Probably nobody.
Can you imagine working at the Discovery Zone, and it's the end of the night, you just closed, and now it's like, all right, someone's got to go through all the tubes.
Somebody's got to clean the tubes.
Someone's got to Lysol the tubes, and you had to draw straws, or someone was assigned, and I wonder, for the right person, that's a dream job.
It's a dream. You get to be in a
tube.
You get to be in a tube by yourself, sniffing Lysol.
Yeah, you come out there all super high on Lysol.
I bet somebody loved that job.
I don't think you can get high on Lysol, and you shouldn't. I think we here at Not Suitable for Adults would say, don't get high on Lysol.
Don't do drugs.
Don't do Lysol.
Don't do anything that makes you druggy.
Man, I cannot. This was a good one. Good call. About Chuck E. Cheese.
Thanks.
He was a rat for a long time, though, huh?
Yeah, he was a rat at the very beginning, and for a very, very long time he was a rat, and then he changed to a mouse.
Like, really only just, like, in my adult lifetime.
Yes.
Only since I've been an adult.
Since we have been married.
Has he changed
to a mouse.
A mouse, and he was a rat the whole rest of the time.
Yes.
And no one at any point said, are we sure about a rat at a pizza place?
Yeah.
And everyone was like, no, his name's Charles. His name is Charles, and he wears a bowler hat. And then so everyone was like, yeah, we need to talk about that too.
At least it wasn't Rick's Rat's Pizza. Rick Rat's
Pizza.
All right.
Goodness.
I'm getting tired of sitting here.
Can you, someone go back and count the number of times we said tubes? I've never said a word so much in my life in like a 15-minute span. Yeah. Oh, man. All right. This has been another episode of Not Suitable for Adults, and we thank you for listening. Hey, if you like the show, just share it.
Just tell somebody about it.
Just tell somebody about it.
Mm-hmm.
Do what we
Next time you're at Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah.
Tell people, hey, I heard this funny thing about Chuck E. Cheese.
Do what we did today and use it to calm your dog while you're out of the house.
Guys, it's true. So we've had Ruby for 2 weeks now.
Yep.
2 full weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
She's really good, but she's a rescue and therefore comes with some anxiety.
She has a little baggage.
She's got some baggage. We don't know what her situation was, but she does not like to be left alone.
No.
Who really does? Well, me sometimes. Leave me alone. We left her alone in our house a couple times thinking she just needs some space. She made messes.
We were wrong.
Rich has had to clean up a lot of things. Then we were like, okay, buckle down. We're doing the crate now.
Yeah. She destroyed it.
The first time we put her in her crate, she destroyed the crate because we had gotten too flimsy of a crate. That's on us. The second time, she did better, but she still made a little bit of a mess in her crate. And today, we decided, here's what we'll do. We'll turn on our podcast really loud in the other room.
So it sounds like we're just in the other room talking.
Yeah.
And listening to the same song for 30 seconds every
We got home and she had done really well.
She did great.
Yeah.
We also gave her some essential oils infused treats that were meant to help calm her a little bit.
Yeah, we gave her a little chamomile lavender concoction.
Yeah. Which is like, we didn't make it for her.
No.
It's a product and it's vet approved.
Right. Right.
So yeah, we didn't do anything weird, but she had a much chiller day today.
Much chiller. She did a good job.
Anyway, that's not really part of the show,
but that's just to say our voices can calm a little bit of anxiety.
Yeah. Maybe yours, maybe your dog's. Maybe only our dogs.
Maybe only our dogs. I'm sure she was also barking and howling the whole time we were gone. But she didn't make a mess in her crate. Yeah. So that's all we ask.
Thank you to Shad Worrell again, as always,
Shad.
for creating our music. We're going to talk about him at the end of every single episode, and you need to go over to SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/shad-worrell, and check out his work, because he makes all sorts of little jingles and ditties over there. He's doing good work.
Yippee.
Do we have any other? No other?
That's it.
Just that we're going to keep going every week.
We're going to do our very best. Now, next week is a holiday week, weekend, but
I don't think we have any big thing. Probably still. Yeah, we're still going to do it. We'll still do one. We're going to do one. All right. So maybe you've got some big plans coming up. Hopefully, you're getting vaccinated.
Yes, please.
It's all out there.
It's up to you. Also, we're not going to go, you're dumb for not getting vaccinated. But also, if you have the time, look into the research and,
There are less and less barriers to you getting vaccinated. Natalie hit her elbow on the desk.
Ow, that hurt really bad.
There are so few barriers.
I'm
going.
I'm just saying, my elbow really hurts.
I'm just saying that there's very few barriers to getting vaccines right now. In Tennessee, they basically just said, all right, people in the sensitive groups have had the chance in April. Anyone can get it that wants it.
Rich and I have had our first doses
a
couple weeks ago.
Yeah, we've got our second one's coming up here next weekend.
Couple of weeks.
Okay. Anyway, but yeah, so get out there and do it. And if you're able to get out into the world, like, go have some fun, and just always remember, never forget that you are the boss.
So watch and eat whatever pizza you want.
Probably not Chuck E. Cheese, okay?
Order Chuck E.